and welcome to terryscookbook.com. My name is Terry Searcy and I hope that you're all doing well today. I wanted to do this blog today for Rosita from next door. She did send a message about pasta and she wanted something simple to make. I know I said I was going to be doing my blogs once a week, but I kind of felt like, well, maybe this is a little bit more important. I had told her about a local store that I had seen some pasta at, but maybe she can't go out. So Rosita, this is for you. So we're going to make egg noodles. Now, the difference when you're having like a fresh egg noodle compared to a store-bought egg noodle is that the fresh egg noodles are a little bit more like a kind of like a dumpling texture, and because they're not dried out and they're fresh, we're going to dry ours out for about an hour. You usually want to go about an hour, 2 hours. We're going to do ours for about an hour, and then I'll show you how they're baked. But right now we're going to go ahead with the ingredients. Hopefully some of you have flour at home. I haven't been able to find any more flour. This flour I've had in the freezer since Christmas. I have a lot, actually I'm using a lot of my stuff from about Christmas time. So right here I have 2 cups of flour. In my other bowl, I have 2 egg yolks and 1 full egg. Because we get our eggs from our chickens, I break each egg individually to make sure that there's nothing inside, little baby chicks. I have a half a teaspoon of salt. If you wonder why mine is pink, it's because it's Himalayan salt. On this recipe, if you look at most recipes, they don't call for baking powder, but I like adding about about a quarter teaspoon of baking powder. I also have half a cup of warm water. We're going to see how it's going to be mixing up. I have a plastic pizza, because I'm going to roll it out on this counter and I don't want it to get ruined, so I have a plastic pizza cutter. I have some extra flour for dusting, and before I forget, and before you forget making the recipe, make sure you take off any rings so that you don't have like Cracker Jacks, a surprise in there. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by dumping my flour in there and my dry products, my salt and my baking powder. And I'm just going to mix this all around and mix that in. All right. Oh, you're also going to need a rolling pin. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make like a little well. I don't know, my husband can get this because as I try making a little well, a divot in here, it keeps moving. Okay, he's giving me thumbs up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the eggs, and I'm going to keep the water next to me. And now I'm going to toss this in. If you have a stand-up mixer, you can go ahead and you have a dough hook, you can throw that all in there. I'm assuming that most people don't have those, so I'm doing it by hand. Okay, and I'm just going to be pouring a little bit of the warm water at a time and mixing this. Like I said, it can go anywhere between a quarter cup and a half a cup. A lot of it also kind of depends on your egg sizes. After I'm done kneading this, we're going to let this set for about 10 minutes. I'm going to knead it first in the bowl, and then I'm going to work it on the countertop. So we'll be doing that here in a minute. As you see, it's all coming together. The kids might have fun doing this, or the grandkids. And it looks like I'm going to take a whole half a cup of water on this. If you have a pasta maker, obviously you've probably made some of this pasta and you'll be putting it in there to really roll it out thin and cut it for you. Alrighty. Okay, so now I'm going to start doing the real big kneading process right now. So let me get most of this off my hands. I'm just going to lightly dust this. Wheat durum flour, when this is all over with, is a really great flour to use. But we're not doing that today because we don't have wheat durum flour. All right, let me get all my things over here. Now I'm just going to knead this for about 10 minutes, working in everything and working that gluten that I spoke about last time, which is going to make it so that it's nice and pliable. So I'm going to go ahead and work this out. I'm going to put it in my bowl and I'm going to cover it with a piece of saran wrap and let it set for 10 minutes. So, and when you're working this, you want to work it to where it's a smooth texture. And I usually fold it. I don't know if my husband's able to see that, but when I roll, I tuck it in and then roll, and then tuck it in and then roll. So that I make sure I get it completely. It's just not that I'm just mashing the dough. It's about really working it. And while you're working it, you're picking up all your little crumbs here. Okay, I'm not going to have my husband run this for 10 minutes. I'm going to knead it and then I'm going to have him come back, all right? All right, so now my 10 minutes of kneading is up. So I have formed a nice little ball. I'm going to go ahead and put that in my bowl, cover it with saran wrap. I'm going to wait another about 10 minutes. That'll give me a chance to kind of clean up and get my hands cleaned. And we will be back. I'll show you how to roll it out. In the meantime, if you are doing this with me, if you have something like this, the perforated little rack, it can be the flat one, it doesn't have to be this one. If you have some cookie sheets, this is where we're going to let them dry out. So if you're doing the video with me, or if you're wondering where you might have left it at, go ahead and take that time to look for that. Right now we're going to let our dough rest, and we'll be back. And we're back. So my dough has rested. Go ahead and save that. And I'm just going to lightly flour my surface. Try to use something plastic. If you have a different type of surface and you have a regular pizza cutter, you can go ahead and do that. Just know your surface. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this into 4s. And just work with a 1/4 at a time. It makes it easier. You have better control, so I'll cover that back up. All right. And I'm going to start rolling it out. You want to roll it out as thin as you can, in a rectangle shape preferably. This is where my really big roller would come in really, really handy. I love that you folks are getting in touch with me and letting me know what it is you need. I have ideas of what I think you might need, but if there are some other things that you are in need of in your household that you're not sure, I would be more than happy to help you out with that. Like I said, when you make this, once this quarantine is over, if you can find some durum flour, wheat durum, it's a lot nicer flour to work with in making this. If not, that's fine. You can continue. All So I didn't make a very good rectangle. I made a tortilla, but it is thin, and that's the idea. And you need to make sure that you keep flouring this so that it doesn't stick. It's thin, but I'm going to make it thinner. I can almost see through my dough and see the marble image of my counter, and that's what you want. You want really, really thin. If you make it thicker, you're going to have a thicker noodle, and it'll definitely be more dumpling type. Stretch this out here, and you need to do this with each piece. I'm about thin enough, and the important part really is trying to get the center. A lot of people leave the center dough really thick. They're worried about their edges more than anything else, so make sure you really roll that out. Okay, this is a part that is actually the longest process of all, is rolling it out and cutting it. Alright, let me just make sure that I can pull it off my counter, and I can, so that's perfect. Okay, I'm going to cut this into a rectangle so that my noodles don't look... I'm going to save this because I'll try recutting this even more once we go off. But this way it's easier for you to see. The noodles, you can make them as long as you want, but typically the ones you buy at the store are about 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches long. So I go, this is about 2 inches. So I divide this in 3. And I can go ahead, and you can go ahead and cut these as about 1/4 inch. And then once you have them cut, you're going to put them on your cookie sheet. You can put them on a lightly dusted towel, dusted with flour. We're trying to dry these little guys out, is what we're trying to do. This one's a little thick. So I can go ahead and I can get my little noodles, now that I've cut them up. And I'm going to put them on here to let them dry. I'll save some more space doing this. I'm going to continue the process. If you don't have something like this and you just have a regular cookie sheet, just make sure that they're not touching each other. Crinkle them up a bit so that way they'll take up some less space on your cookie sheet. But you don't want to fold them necessarily because you don't want them to be moist in the middle. You want them to dry out. Alright. So this is something definitely the kids can help you with. Especially if it's a rainy day like it is today in California again. Okay, so I'm going to continue this process. I'm going to let these noodles, now obviously you can let these noodles dry out longer than an hour. You can go 2-3 hours. If you have a dehydrator and you want to dehydrate these, this way you have them later on, that's doable too. If you have a space that you can just go ahead and leave these out for a few days, that's great. Dry them out. And you can put them in the oven at a very low temperature to dry them out. If you have a pilot type oven, a gas oven, you can leave them in there overnight and let them dry out, and they'll get really nice and crunchy. kind of noodle. All right, so I'm gonna let my noodles just kind of dry out like this. I'm gonna continue the process. I'm gonna let them dry for about an hour, hour and a half, and then we're gonna come back and I'm gonna show you how to cook them up. We'll be back. Hi, and welcome back to terryscookbook.com. It's been about 2.5 hours that I've had my pasta drying out. And so you can see I have a lot of it here drying, and so I'm going to be turning some of this over. Some of it isn't drying as quickly as I'd like. So this is the one that we started with in the original video. I have my water getting ready to boil. So I did want to share with you, I found this. This is usually a product that you find at your health food stores. But Walmart is now starting to carry it. So Walmart and a lot of the other grocery stores, I don't know where you might be seeing this at. And they usually have it near the vegetable section in a refrigerated area in the vegetable section. So it's made, the base is a shiitake mushroom, but you can't tell that it is mushroom based at all. When you use this, you are going to just want to rinse it out really well. All right, so we're going to go to my water because I just heard it boiling. I am going to add just a little bit of oil and a pinch of salt to it. I'm not going to do all this pasta because we just ate dinner, so I just want to show you all a little bit what it looks like when it is done. And I'm going to let the rest of this dry out overnight. I have a propane. I don't have gas, regular gas. So it is going to take about 2 to 3 minutes for it to be done, and then I'm going to rinse it out just like normal. So I'm going to go ahead and let this go for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll be right back. All right, we're back, and so I'm going to take out my noodles. And remember, these are going to cook a lot quicker because they're fresh. And turn this off. I'm going to rinse them real quick. Show you here. This is what my noodles look like. And so this is how you make egg noodles. So these are I'm gonna let these dry out, and then I'll put them in a bag and save them. But I hope you enjoyed my video. If you have any questions, if you have any requests, please let me know. I'll get right on it. As long as I have some of the ingredients or something that I can whip up to make it with. I'd love to share what I know. So thank you for coming to terryscookbook.com. Please stay safe and healthy.